gives you so much money for
maintaining.
Yeah,
gardens.
yeah,
I don't think we have that.
yeah.
Yet. But maybe that's part of Christy Clark's new Plant a Tree program.
I haven't even heard of this Plant a Tree program.
Well, it just happened.
Oh, was this part of the new...
This was her climate action comment. No, it was on Friday. She announced
Part
it.
of it.
Right.
Yeah, it's part of it.
We'll do more tree planting where I guess she's thinking about where the beetle damage was and everything like that. But of course, that was going to happen anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
no,
give us credit for that on our lowering our carbon targets.
Well, the whole point of being a politician is to maintain your popularity and power base, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not to actually serve the public. Heaven forbid that.
Who would do that? Yeah, I haven't taken a look at the plan yet, because the federal, they just released the climate action plan or whatever on Friday, right?
Right.
the federal one?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So I assume that'll have certain goals in terms of reducing the emissions. And
Yeah,
do
exactly.
you have a lot of? You don't have a lot of dairy farming here, do you?
In BC?
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware
Well,
of.
that's a good thing because that produces a heap of greenhouse gases.
It does.
Yeah, all
It
of
really
those
does.
cows farting. That's like
All that methane.
That's the biggest problem New Zealand has. Like we you know, we can't do without the farming industry, unfortunately, though.
The Fraser Valley, the Cowichan Valley, and the Comox Valley are
The big,
the big dairy areas.
yeah. People still want their meat and milk.
They do.
So we went to a meeting about the sort of climate action to make suggestions to the federal government.
Right.
One of the people said, well, eat less cheese, less milk, less ice cream,
All of that stuff.
less meat, less... But for lots of people, dairy replaces if they're trying to cut down on meat.
I just think
That's true.
It's just kind of unrealistic to expect people to all of a sudden become vegan. You know, I mean, yes, it's pretty simple science to say, hey, you know, this industry in a whole bunch of different ways is polluting, whether you're talking about, you know, the animals themselves or the energy it takes to move it from the farm to the main marketplace. But, you know, you're talking about consumer preferences, and it's, in the end, I think, the only way that it's going to be dealt with is by providing a different way of making your meat and or dairy products that doesn't involve the animal. You know,
What? Really?
well,
That's
I mean-
bizarre.
there's a lab, I don't know if I mentioned this last time I was out with you guys, there's a company that grows leather in a lab.
Oh,
And they're
yeah.
working on growing meat as well, in the same way that you might brew beer, you know, like chemically create it and grow it. That's, you know, a frontier, but I can imagine a future where we never have animals for all of this stuff. We don't need them anymore.
We have the genetics.
Yeah, like it's a viable idea.
It is.
And there's, you know, plenty of companies that create some pretty good meat substitutes, all made from plant products and stuff. I just think, you know, if it can be marketed correctly, then you can get people on board.
Well,
know, also, the change isn't going to happen overnight.
Yeah, yeah.
Not with our species.
No, definitely not.
Nope.
Nature is a hurdle to get over. But
Mm.
the fact of the matter is that people's consumption habits are changing.
Slowly but surely they are.
Incrementally, you know, people are moving away from eating as much meat. People are moving away from having as much dairy for various reasons.
Mm.
And so I think that'll play out.
Yeah,
over
like
the
in
coming decades.
30 years, it could be a very different story. Especially as people get more educated and more knowledgeable about, you know, the latest research on nutrition and whatnot, which always seems to be changing. But yeah, you're definitely right. Like, people are totally changing the way they eat, slowly but surely. I think that the immediate goal for our climate change targets is how we generate our energy. Because that's
Yeah.
at least something we can deal with now.
And the fact of the matter is, we have passed that tipping point where renewables are
Yeah.
more lucrative than.
That's fascinating, watching different markets around the world show how competitive it's becoming. And, you know, it just shows you when there's the right conditions are put in place, capitalism and the market just kind of does that, which is kind of an interesting thought, because capitalism is often demonized.
But its momentum can be used in a productive way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, it's a very efficient system.
If
Sometimes.
capitalism was really fluid, the change would be happening a lot faster, but we are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
Very true.
Well, that's the problem. Consumer preferences is the one trump card. Whenever you're doing any kind of economic modelling, that's the one thing that will always be the most unpredictable factor. Which is why I find economics, you know, when people call it a science, I just kind of find that a little bit laughable sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to model human behaviour, but human behaviour is both predictable and yet very unpredictable. Oh, we're not going to hear many birds with all this yapping we're doing.
It's very quiet in the forest today.
Yeah.
And it's not just the talking.
Mind you, it's the wrong time of day.
It's true. Yeah, it's so dry. There's not a lot growing around too.
We'll probably hear some raptors though, right? Like, every time we've been out, we've seen turkey vultures or
That's true.
ospreys or various other things.
Last time I was here, I saw a red-legged frog.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's good. We might stumble across them, who knows?
Anytime you see an amphibian, it's a good sign.
Yeah, definitely.
Bugger all left it in these days.
It's really true. It's still a very beautiful forest.
Very open though, isn't it?
Yeah. That's usually one of the signs of a more mature forest.
Oh, okay.
As things get older, their canopy starts to crowd out.
Right.
Or sorry,
so
shade
the
out.
understory doesn't really get much of a chance.
Yeah. That's why in those beautiful old growth forests you can look.
Quite far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate seeing toilet paper on the ground because it's the type of garbage I'm not willing to pick up.
This is why you should carry an entrenching tool with you.
Or a pair of latex gloves.
Yeah.
That would be smart as well.
Always bury your waste.
Oh, did you hear about that poor guy who was cycling? This is last year when the forest fires were happening.
Oh.
And he was cycling, pulled over to use the washroom and burned his toilet paper, thinking he was doing the right thing. buried it, didn't realize it was still alight,
Oh.
started a forest fire. Like a few, I want to say a couple thousand hectares, or acres, sorry.
Someone had fun.
So sad.
Does anyone have a plastic bag?
Yeah, I forgot to.
Oh, you found, yeah, here, I can